Hey guys, this is Quokka. I forgot to mention this in the episode, but this upcoming 4th of July weekend, I will be at Anime Expo in LA. So if you're going to be there, you should join us on Discord or tweet at us, and we'll be able to arrange a meetup or something. I'm not totally sure what my schedule is going to be there, since I can't decide on the things that I want to see. There's too much. But yeah, we'll be able to meet up, hang out. I don't know, but enjoy the show. This is Anime Summit, episode 55.
Okay, so other than that, what you just said right there, go down your list and tell me why it's not good, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Hello, and welcome to the Anime Summit podcast. My name is Quokka, and with me I've got Psalm.
Whamp, whamp. What it do? What it do?
And that's gonna be it for this podcast. Psalm's gonna put Tiger Balm on his balls.
Right all over my dick.
Put it all over your dick.
But yeah, later in this episode we will talk about Gunbuster and Diebuster. But first, how you guys doing? What's going on? Oh wait,
Nothing, man.
if anybody hasn't heard yet, we have a Discord channel that you can join at discord.animesummit.net, and you can chat with us and other people that like us for some reason. For some reason, they like us.
What?
For some reason or for some raisin.
Yes, and for
Whichever one
some
works
raisins.
You know, raisins are pretty good. Not even gonna lie.
Dude, throw that shit in trail mix.
That shit's on
That's
point.
legit.
Get you some nuts in there.
I hate raisins.
Some M&Ms. Some M&Ms. And some nuts.
And some mom spaghetti with your M&Ms.
Oh
Yes,
wait,
Mom.
I gotta look up a recipe for trail mix.
Oh my god.
Mac, I can barely hear that. Like your mic's too good or something.
That was me like smacking my mouse as hard as I could.
Yeah, you
No
gotta have
homo.
a crappy setup like me, so it goes like this. It's like really loud.
Good one.
I haven't done much except for poop and play Overwatch.
All right, I got something. How about that NBA Finals,
Nobody
fellas?
cares. Oh my
LeBron
god.
James
Nobody cares at all.
brings a championship to the land.
Do you know what I've been doing?
Now
I've been
Cleveland's not
watching
a
the
pooper
shit out of
anymore.
Orange is the New Black because Netflix
Okay.
gets me.
I finished
Man.
that last night, and how far are you, Koka?
Like episode 9 of the 12.
They all die.
Yep, they all die. Nuclear bomb explodes
Nick,
in
shut the fuck up.
wherever they are. Maine?
Dude,
Wow, was that
Michigan.
right?
dude, when you...
I don't know.
Oh my god. I just don't even want to talk about it. We should probably move on.
All right, Sam, thanks for wasting our fucking time.
So
Shut up,
We
you
do
stupid
have-
horse slut bitch! Shut the fuck up! God.
Dude, Game of Thrones episode though, that battle scene was sick in the previous.
Yeah, show was
thing,
trash.
like,
Move
the
on.
Battle of the Bastards.
yeah, I mean, it was
like a
sick
movie
in the
battle.
sense of you can't tell anything that's going on.
That's the whole point, though, man. Like, it's chaos in a battle. There's just piles
Yeah, because
of bodies.
they have to float on BS because the dude don't want to write the books no more.
You don't want to
Sam, are
like
you
the books.
mad?
I mean, he's told them what the story is going to be, but
Yeah, and then he's just gonna troll and write something different, and that's
No,
gonna
but
be
this
funny.
is a good thing because then you
Probably.
can read a new story in the books and a new story in the show. Two different stories.
And today on the Game
Twice
of
the
Thrones
money.
podcast.
so we do have
So who's your favorite Game of
two
Thrones?
questions from fans on our Twitter. And guys, you can send us questions on the Twitter with hashtag AskAnimeSummit. And then we'll answer them on the show. And maybe on Twitter too, probably. Probably both. But first, from at Rove Random.
Here we go.
Rover and Dom. Opinion on Kuma Miko ending? Question mark?
Wait, should we save that for the other episode or the?
No,
the
we're gonna
spring?
do it
This
right
is the
now.
short
We're
answers,
gonna do
Nick.
it
Short
right now.
answers.
Oh, short answers. Oh, can I say my tweet?
Oh my gosh.
All right, so a mind break tag is good in doujinshis, but it's very bad in slice
That's
of
not even
life.
funny, dude. That's not.
That's
I
not
think it's
funny.
kind of funny.
That's not
Yeah, I
funny.
tried a little hard. It was a little bit
That's
try
not
hard,
even
but I think
funny
it's
though. The ending was
Basically,
just bad.
Spoilers.
That's it. It's
spoiler.
bad.
Without
Shoot's
getting
mind
too
broken.
much into it, it's very thoughtless and BS. That's
Yeah, it's bad.
and
It's just bad.
It shits on the rest of the show. That's the short answer.
It's bad, but not in a school days ending
So watch
bad.
all
It's,
of the
like,
show
actually
except
just
the last
bad.
episode.
Out of the last two, even you can even skip the last two.
Okay.
Well, because they were anime original endings, and like the mangaka author.
Yeah,
I like how I butchered that. He let them do their thing because he's like, oh, they're professionals, they'll do it, and then even he's just like, wow, that was fucked up.
right. We can get into it
And,
more when we
yeah.
talk about the end of whatever, but that's short answer. It shits on everything else, and they're terrible. It's terrible. You could
Still better show than Joker Game.
Okay.
Just had to shit on Joker Game for a second.
So
Wow.
from at Chris Takisdix.
Christakis
Kiss Dicks. Krista Kiss Dicks
His name is now Kiss Dicks.
on
All right.
Twitter.
All right, Mr.
He says,
Kiss Dicks.
haven't watched a lot of anime, but really like the psychological anime. Any suggestions? Smiley face, Sam is best, tongue face.
wait. What?
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
So I'm guessing,
I just
Sam,
had
you
a
got
cough.
any suggestions of psychological anime for Krista Kiss Dicks?
Psychological anime?
Psychological anime.
Evangelion.
Yeah, I mean I would automatically say Evangelion, but Le Portrait de
I mean, it still trends super action-y.
yeah, it does.
No, Evangelion is like the prototypical It's like the most.
I would
famous
say if
one.
you're really into like
Being most famous doesn't mean most applicable.
I would say if you're really into like the
That's not its only tag. Yeah. But
I would say if you're really into like goth horror, macabre or whatever, psychological
Macabre.
Macabre.
shit. Le Portrait de Petit Cossette. Shut up, Pat Labor. Fucking retard. Le Portrait de Petit Cossette. It's like 3 45-minute episodes.
It's by Akiyuki Shimbo, right?
I don't know, but I watched it. I
think
watched
it
it when
is,
I was
yeah.
in high
We'll
school,
just-
and it kind of fucked me up a bit. But the visuals are super cool, and it kind of like there's parts of it where it kind of goes out there just to go out there, which is kind of lame. But as a whole, I think it's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool one, and
I got one. Serial Experiments Lain.
I was waiting for Serial Experiments Lane to get mentioned.
Oh, Mac.
I was
Mac, take it
waiting
away.
for that. I can't take it away. You just gotta watch it. That's
Okay.
one of those shows that you just gotta watch it. There's nothing to be said about it. Just watch it.
It's like this weird sci-fi show about the internet and stuff like that. So yeah.
Computers fuck me up, fam.
See, I'd really recommend anything by Satoshi Kon, like your Paprika, your Perfect Blue, Paranoia Agent. All wonderful.
Millennium Actress.
Yes, that too.
I don't know if Millennium Actress is. I haven't seen
Paranoia
one yet.
Agent is really cool. I really like Paranoia Agent too. That's one I would recommend for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely,
Ergo Proxy
definitely.
kind of is a little bit.
Ergo Proxy, more like Butthole Proxy.
Good one, Sam.
Some
Nice.
spitting fire, throwing shade.
There's the 5 best rappers in the world, man. Dylan, and Dylan. Because I spit hot fire.
Oh, dude, one we forgot. Kaiji Ultimate
Oh,
Oh,
Survivor
no,
Series.
no.
I
Okay,
didn't
moving
pitch
on
this
to
one.
Waifu of the
Hell
Week.
yeah.
It's not psychological.
Yeah, it is. That is
No,
a
it is
psychological
not.
thriller.
It's just
And
thriller.
Monster.
There's
We gotta
not.
mention
There's no
Monster. Death Note.
psychological involved there.
I'm just going to list all of them out.
God no. Ugh. Waifu of the week.
You haven't even seen Kaiji, man. Shit.
I've seen enough of it.
Waifu of the week.
Waifu of the week is
Noriko.
There's a bit of a
We're
pause
just gonna-
there.
I don't know. I don't think
Me and
we had
Mac want
settled on who
Noriko.
it wanted. I say no.
Okay, Sam, what do you say?
No.
God fucking
Now
damn
it's a
it, Sam.
2x2.
All right, tweet at us right now. Just kidding. Even though nobody knows we're recording now.
Yeah, how's that gonna work? Think that one
Okay.
out.
So Nono,
Ty should
we'll
go
make
to
the
the
case.
real human.
We'll make the case. Nono is a robot who
It
is
could
super
be co-best
awesome,
girl. We could do that.
and she's got nice boobies. and she can breathe in space. Nono wins by final
No,
vote.
it's 2
by
versus
final
2.
vote
Fuck
rules.
that.
It's 2v2.
Final vote rules.
Let's just agree. Let's compromise. They both win.
Okay, Noriko and Nono win
Yeah.
waifu of the week.
Yay!
If I had to
from
pick a girl from-
Gunbuster and Diebuster, respectively.
If I had to pick a girl from Gunbuster, it would be Noriko. So yeah, I'm down.
Both of them got nice boobies
They do indeed. They
that they
do
like just
Nono.
throwing out there for some reason.
Yup.
We'll talk about them during the episode.
Yeah,
so
we'll
we
talk
don't really
about-
need to elaborate.
So, going into talking about Gunbuster and Diebuster. So, a little bit of background. Gunbuster, well, they're both by Gainax. You know, Evangelion, Furikuri, Princess
Gurren
Puriuchi.
Lagann.
Of their most known show, of course,
What's
Princess
fully
Puriuchi. Furikuri.
His and her circumstances as well.
So, I believe
Wings of
Gunbuster came out in 1988
Yep.
as
Mhm.
originally sort of a parody of Aim for the Ace, and then kind of like shied away from staying that.
Aim for the Ace was a 1970s tennis anime, and it was all about just like hard work and guts, and it's just like you had to aim for the top, and
No, you
that's
had
what
to
they
aim
were
for the
parodying
ace.
at first. Yeah, they got to
Because an ace is when you serve and they don't return your serve.
Dude, that 80s music fucked me up.
Yeah, the music.
I'm not even
the
gonna
theme song
lie.
is so 80s.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Dude,
but
I
then
love 80s
for
music.
For Gainax's 20th anniversary, they made Diebuster, which is sometimes shown as Gunbuster 2 or Aim for the Top Gunbuster 2, which has so many throwbacks.
Yeah, Diebuster is. Are we gonna
No,
go?
I was just giving a little bit of background on them, like what these shows are.
We're gonna go like chronological. So first Gunbuster,
Yeah.
then Diebuster, or are we gonna mix them? Like, how are we doing this?
No, let's just talk about Gunbuster and Diebuster, and then at the end we can have a
Moved
discussion.
mostly from Gunbuster into Diebuster, but there may be moments where you then like reference.
Yeah.
which is fine.
And then
Anyway,
at the end
there
we can
will
have a
be-
discussion.
In general, I think we can all agree that spoilers for this show are kind of like you're not really going to be spoiled because there's nothing truly to spoil. It's kind of just a fun ride, regardless of if you know what's going to happen.
Well, there's some stuff you can
Spoilers
spoil for sure.
beware. We are going to
yeah,
say
there's
I
gonna
don't
them.
be
know. I don't know
spoilers,
what you
like-
could really
But,
call
like,
a spoiler in it, but
We are
You can watch
taking
the whole show
safeties off.
in like 3 hours. so
Spoilers are
it's
going
not
to
that-
start flying.
Yeah, spoilers. You can watch.
I'm
the show real
barebacking
quick
it for
anyway.
this
It's
one,
not-
guys.
Yep.
it's
Tom,
only
would
3
you say your
hours
hips
for
won't stop moving?
each thing. So it's only 6 hours
Yeah,
total
like
for
you
both.
can watch it quick.
Yeah, I watch Gunbuster in one day and Diebuster in the second. And I work all the time.
So if you're one of those people that freaks out over the tiniest little spoilers, like character X ate an apple in episode 1, then you
Shit,
might
dude.
want to go watch them first. But if
Wait, are we talking about Ray Zero now?
there was an apple involved,
Oh man.
Sleeping Beauty.
I wrote a pretty
Spoilers.
funny fanfic about Ray Zero. I'll talk
we'll
about that on
We'll
the
never
other
talk
episode.
about that. We'll never talk about that. So how did you guys feel about Gunbuster?
Loved it.
Do you want to do some more synopsis of it?
Loved it.
Yeah, we should briefly
Go.
just briefly
Go.
give an overview.
Just go.
So anybody but except
Just
for
go.
Sam.
Just go.
Directed
Give
by my husband, Hideaki Anno.
Evangelion, man.
Gunbuster is just Gunbuster is it's a story about like the Earth that's getting attacked by, or it's about to get attacked by these space monsters. They're just
Space
called
whales.
space monsters. So the Earth is setting up defense, building up all these robots and mechas, and eventually they're building the Gunbuster. And what they're doing is training all these pilots to pilot the mechs, defend the Earth, and
At the
eventually pilot
Okinawa
the
Girls
Gunbuster.
Space Pilot School, Okinawa.
Yeah, so it starts off
Okinawa.
really cheesy with like this 80s vibe, and like they're in mechas doing like
Well, it's got an
fucking
80s vibe
training
because it was
montages,
the
like
80s.
running up hills. Yeah,
And that music is
Well, I mean-
so 80s.
they're doing like these ridiculous. They're doing like push-ups in a mech. Like you don't need to do that,
Right.
but they have like these complicated controls, and they're training them to see who can pilot the Gunbuster.
Speaking of the controls,
And,
I really liked it where in like the first fight, they're just both throwing the joysticks back and forth, and then they're like doing super complicated stuff as like the mech. When the actual pilots were just going like back and forth, back and forth.
That's because there's buttons on the handles, dude. Don't you pay attention?
Yeah,
There's like
I was
these
gonna say.
That
buttons.
articulate,
There's
just those
these-
buttons.
There's
feet
these,
pedals.
there's
Okay.
these damn rocker switches all around the cockpit. I mean, don't you even watch the same show that we're watching? I mean,
Go ahead,
come
Nick.
on.
Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, that was basically the plot. And then like there's three main characters. There's Noriko, what's her name? Kazuma.
Kazumi.
Or, no, Kazumi.
Kazumi.
That's it. And then
And Jung.
and then Coach.
Coach
Yeah, and Jung and Coach.
Commander
Kochi.
Ota.
I think Coach is a little more of a main. Well, they're all kinda main.
Koichiro Ota.
Kochi.
And like the three girls are the pilots, and Coach is like literally the coach. He has like the fucking like those shiny or the aviator sunglasses,
He's got like a s-
and he's like this super badass like semi
Dude,
crippled.
no lie, when I saw him,
guy.
I was like, holy shit, this is some Top Gun shit right
like
here.
you, like
Yeah.
you know this guy. Like when you see him for the first time, he's seen some things and some stuff. Like
Yeah, it's like that's how I'd want all of my coaches to look in real life. Just wearing those sunglasses with like a limp. Like get in there.
get in there. Ruh.
But yeah, so like they have to. It's like this weird thing in Gunbuster where when they travel, there's this concept
weird
called
thing?
time dilation.
This weird thing?
This
really?
weird
Did
thing,
you just
you
say
mean
that?
the special
Because
theory
I'm
of
fixing-
relativity?
I'm
yeah,
fixing
dude, it's
to
a
wreck
weird
you.
fucking thing, man.
That's
You know who invented it? Abraham Lincoln.
Yes,
Anyway.
Abraham Lincoln with his wooden teeth.
Time dilation is. Let me read my definition. That I
As you get
pasted,
closer
'cause I
to
don't
the speed
fucking
of
know.
light, time slows down. Special theory of relativity. You don't need to
Correct.
Yeah,
look
so
up what time
it's
dilation
it's the
is.
difference of elapsed time between two events as measured by observers, either moving relative or each other.
Or
Based on your
Blah, blah,
frame of
blah.
being exposed
Difference
to
of time.
anything that is supermassive because it warps the reality of
yeah.
space-time.
Gravity and speed slow down time.
So essentially, what they're doing is they're traveling vast distances in short amounts of time, and the people who are
Short
traveling,
relative amounts of time.
relative amounts of time. God damn it, fucking physics, man! I don't know this shit.
Because if you notice,
But,
they
like-
have the normal thrusters and then they have the warp, which the warp gets them there in a shorter amount of non-relative time, but a longer amount of relative time. So when they warp, they can get those far distances without having issues with time dilation. But the trip is longer for them as individuals, while at normal speed of light travel, it takes a long time for them to do it, but it feels very short.
right. And in this case, that actually plays like a huge factor in the 6
That hate-
episodes.
If you've seen Interstellar, you understand it.
That plays a huge factor into the last episode, especially because if you
yeah,
cannot grasp
every episode really.
if you cannot
Well-
grasp the theory of time dilation and all of that, then the last episode's not going to make sense because they're basically in close proximity to a fucking black hole. That's like the definition of a supermassive object. So, yeah, if you can't grasp the fact that time slows down relative to everything else, then there's no way you can understand why it takes them 12,000 years. Or was it 14? 12,000 or 14,000?
12,000.
it
12,000?
was
See,
a lot of thousands.
you know, I'm
It
gonna
was
go back, like-
12,000 years to get
So
back.
they did the whole, special theory of relativity thing, but then they fucked up on the whole Newtonian physics part.
Yeah, and that's like some of the science is a little outdated or a little bit not
And
quite
then-
accurate.
They
That's
also
fine,
have
though.
the
It's-
whole
it's
fact
like-
is
it's a
like
parody anime.
normal combustion style engines, like rocket engines, in terms of the technology that we have, regardless of how efficient the fuel could ever be, any kind of thing that propels a fuel source out the back to propel you forward will get less and less efficient as you get faster and faster. You'd never be able to get within arm's reach of the speed of light,
Wait, so that's
especially with those
that's your
tiny
big
little
problem?
thrusters that they
That's
use.
your big problem?
Yeah,
My big problem was
that's
the fact
one of my
that there
big
was
problems.
My big problem was the fact that there was a damn Soviet mech flying around and it was the year 20,000 something.
It was,
I mean, come on.
well,
what
it
happened
was
to
a
the
Russian
Soviets
mech.
anyways?
It didn't
Oh,
need to be
God,
a
fucking
Soviet.
nitpicks.
No,
It
they
was-
said Soviet.
That's not the
it
point
was
of the show.
2023, by the way. That's like really nitpicky stuff, I think.
Well, the show started in 2015. The guy, her dad died in December 2015.
Yes.
Where's our space travel?
You have to understand that, okay, the Transformers, the movie, the animated one, also took place in 2015 or 2005, I think it was. And that was made in the 80s. So, I mean, calm down. Anyways, Gunbuster, like, dude, I love it. Like, Gunbuster is so sick. It's fucking.
I didn't. I thought Gunbuster was
Quokka would not
super
like it.
lame.
You are
No.
This is not the
such
type of show
a
that Quokka
pleb.
would like. I didn't think he would.
Like, the pacing destroys any kind of tension or
What?
hype involved in any situation
What?
that happens.
Why is
It
your
works
problem?
directly against any character development. Because everything just
That's
happens
part
in such
right,
hard
but
steps. It never actually goes through a story.
Well, the problem
No,
is
the-
if you look at everything that they have to condense into the 6 episodes that is the Gunbuster OVA, the fact that they
Yeah,
managed
but it was
to
made
pull
for
it
6
off,
episodes. There was no manga. They
the
could have
fact
made a
that they
story for
managed
6
to
episodes.
coherently pull off the story that they did in
Mac,
6 episodes is worth a
isn't-
tremendous amount of praise, no matter what
No.
in the hell you say
No,
about
Mac,
pacing.
it is not. Because
Yes,
of the
it
fact you
is.
can throw as much story as you want into a short period of time. Especially when you're making up the story to fit your own period of time that you want. They could have just made a story that worked good for 6 hours, like Diebuster did.
Why do
But-
you?
or 3 hours. But
My-
Gunbuster did not.
My question is, why do you hate like anime that paces that way? Where like, why do you hate?
okay,
that?
guys, I have an explanation
That does
for
hard
this. Like,
steps because it's not like how a story develops.
The
Things
creator
just
of
happen.
Gunbuster realized it was a parody. He purposely put in as many ideas as he could. He crammed them all
Thank
in
you.
there. So like it's not
Yeah, it
going
made
to
it
be
worse.
like it's not a perfectly tight story cuz like a lot of the side characters are underdeveloped.
paper thin.
Like Smith or whatever his name was, or her love interest.
Even the main
they threw a
characters
lot
are
of these
paper
elements in
thin.
there. No, the main characters are very well developed. Like
No,
Noriko and
very
and
well
Kazumi
is a
are great,
huge-
and Coach.
Huge.
For a
overstatement.
6-episode show,
For a
they're
Are you
really well
kidding me,
developed.
dude?
They're very
Yeah,
well developed.
This isn't like 60 episodes. They don't have
Yeah,
enough time
but the
like
thing is,
Arya or
they
something
had
like.
a story to tell in 6 episodes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
You write the
And they
story to
did.
what the time you have. You don't write more than that and then condense it down and make it shit.
But it's not shit.
It's not though.
It
No, Gunbuster is a legit
so
classic.
lame.
Like everybody agrees that Gunbuster's classic.
it may have been good for 88. It's not
still good.
no,
It's still
it-
good.
dude, it holds up better than Gundam Wing. Please.
Well,
Oh,
Gundam
yeah,
Wing
that's not
was
hard. Yeah.
very much always bad.
Nah, because back then I
Like,
thought it
no,
was the shit.
Gunbuster, it's so like not good. Like the
I don't
story just
understand.
happens in huge
Okay.
major
Whoa,
steps
Quokka,
that don't
just
actually develop
Tweet
the
at Quokka if you
characters.
disagree.
Okay, so other than that, what you just said right there, go down your list and tell me why it's not good, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
As I said, the pacing destroys
Yeah.
any tension.
Okay.
The characters don't really actually develop.
Okay.
The
That's not true.
There's
Okay.
a whole bunch of physics problems that don't make any sense, especially
That
when you've
doesn't
done the
fucking-
whole theory.
Welcome to
The thing
anime.
is,
Get
that
off
is
your high
fine.
horse.
That doesn't.
Get
That's
off your high
fine
horse.
until you,
Welcome to
once
It's a
you
fucking
do
mecha
some,
show.
No, once you do something like special theory of relativity, you can't fuck up Newtonian physics.
Sure you can. It's an anime.
Yeah. Are you gonna say that Gurren Lagann
No,
is bad
'cause
because it's not realistic?
No, because they never established the concept of special theory of relativity. They never go through this concept of establishing
wait.
scientific
Oh, wait.
principles and then abandoning simpler ones.
Hey guys, according to this, Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso is bad because there's no way Kosei could have seen Kaori at the end scene.
That's true. That's true. Like,
So-
why were
so
they
it's the
standing on
so-called-
water?
So tell
There's
me
this thing
about your
called
double
imagination,
standards
Mac.
again.
If you have an imagination,
Why are,
you can
why
use
are they
it.
standing on water?
No,
That's my
as
question.
I said, anytime what did we say? Verisimilitude. When you fit to your established rules,
Okay, can you explain
and
to
they
me
set
what?
up
and
a
the
world
established
of
rules
realistic
are that it's a
physics, and then
mecha
threw away.
parody.
Can someone explain to me what
Newtonian
Newtonian
physics.
physics is? I don't know what that is.
Do you need me to
Yeah,
do
let's
that, or were
explain
you
this
asking
in
somebody else to
simple
do it?
terms.
Any of you? I just don't know what it
Newtonian
is.
physics is basically the whole object in motion stays in motion until acted upon by an outside force. So if you're traveling at, say, 99% of the speed of light, you don't need to keep your thrusters going to stay at 99% of the speed of light. You're already going 99% of the speed of light. Why do you still have your forward thrusters going?
Because it's why is that your complaint?
Why
It's fucking
is
anime,
your-
dude. Because
why
it looks
it-
cool.
So now,
Why is your thrust vector not aligned with your
All
center
right.
of mass?
Okay, Quokka. Now I'm just
That's how
going
you spin
to.
out of control.
Okay, I got you.
Oh my
I got you.
God.
I hear you.
How do you like Madoka Magica if this is like
Because that's
Because it
well,
doesn't
Shows
establish
even
itself
less
as following
believable.
realistic physics.
okay. And you know what? I hear you. But now I'm going to go down your list and tell you why you're stupid.
Okay.
The
Tell me why I'm stupid.
What was the first thing? The pacing was too hard.
The pacing
right?
destroys any kind of like tension in the story.
Okay, I don't think that at all because I think it added more drama, to be honest with you, because when they came back that first time, it was like 10 years later. And like she ran into her best friend who was already like a mom and shit. Life was going on. They were building the Etrium or whatever that was. And Noriko was like, holy shit, like all this stuff is passing me by. My friends are having kids. And
Yeah.
like
that
all this
was all
shit.
fine. I'm talking about the actual way that the story, the timeline within the show, as in the 6 episodes, how much time you spend on each event, made it so you just kind of jumped from thing to thing to thing, like separate, disconnected nodes of a story.
But they're all connected.
The individual
though. Like, I
parts
know what
were
you
mostly
mean.
pretty good, and I definitely liked most of the things that it hit and the themes that it touched on.
The first 3 episodes, yeah, are like they do start out a little slow or whatever, and like some of the like I know that
Yeah,
the
but then it
episode
kind of
with
just
Smith,
like
especially with
jumps,
her
and then like,
romantic
oh, all of a
interest.
sudden we have this super massive black hole bomb that is a piece of shit and doesn't fucking work when
Yeah,
you want it
because
to.
they're ramping up. They're just ramping up.
No,
and ramping
but it's
up. Like,
just
it's
there is no ramp though. It's just a jump. It's like stairs.
Yeah, and that's the point
Instead
of the
of a
show.
ramp.
Like, they're not trying to slowly ramp. They're trying to just jump. Yeah, they are doing that.
Which I'm saying is bad. You can say that's what the show's trying to do. That doesn't make it not bad.
Okay, but the reason why I think it works is because, and then I'm going to lead into the black and white episode from here.
Well, it has the time dilation. That's
Yeah,
why it
yeah,
works.
Black
That's-
and white episode was extra stupid.
Okay, here's why you're
That was the best
here's why you're
part.
dumb. Here's why you're dumb. Because they go into space to do that first mission. They come
That
back.
take
It's
10-minute mission, 2.5 years.
These 3 things that happened. That first mission, then that second one, where they led the Exelion into the
Yeah, where they went to Jupiter.
and then the third part with the black hole bomb. There was 3 major missions, 3 major events that these 2 girls conquered. Okay, 3 major points in the war that the 2 main characters, because of time dilation, were each a part of, and that was like, that's cool. Like these 2 girls, these 2 same girls, did each part of that. Now the black and white episode is tiring. They're tired. Okay, it's like an old World War II movie. That's what it looked like.
That's not how the show's presented. It's presented exactly the same, just in black and white.
Except,
Well, yeah, it's more
except
dramatic
the
and the
characters
stakes are
were
higher.
older.
It shows
It's
the
not more
desperation.
dramatic.
Like the grayscale, it shows how desperate they are. Like that's
It doesn't though,
it's
because
like
they're
it's
not
all
acting
changing.
desperately.
Expression. Like it made
how it looks.
I don't
Okay, yes,
see
they
how you're
are.
having a
They built
problem
a-
with this.
they built
I
the
watched
fucking-
the damn episode and it made perfect sense why they went grayscale black and white there.
why
It made perfect sense.
Artistic expression makes it valid, not good.
it was like an old World War II movie. Everyone was tired. It's at the end point of this war. They're trying to hope for this miracle, and everyone is tired. The war's been going on for so fucking long, and everyone is just
Dude,
fucking.
and then the best part, the end. When they get to the end, it blasts into color
Yes.
again.
Exactly.
So why not, instead of just suddenly being black and white, why couldn't they have started that episode in color and slowly desaturated up
it
until
just-
that point?
It just sounds like
Why'd
you're
they have to
being
do it
really
like in such a way that is just like jarring and unnecessary?
This episode,
especially when the
Mike-
characters aren't behaving in a different matter.
This episode might go a little long. You're being really nitpicky. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
think the way they did it
because you
worked
pick
just
parts
fine.
of the
Like, they
show
don't
that
have
you
to-
like and things that you don't like. You're nitpicking in that you're picking the
Yeah,
things
well,
that you
I
like
understand-
only.
I'm not like disparaging you for disliking a show. You can dislike whatever you want, but like you shouldn't be calling Gunbuster bad. Like I know what you mean though. Like you don't like it.
And I think
it's
most of
not a
its
bad
decisions
show.
were
You don't
made
like it.
poorly. It was good for the 80s, not still good. It did not age.
It's
Like a
still-
fine
it's
wine.
still
aged
really
like
good.
milk.
It's still one of the best mechas that I've ever seen. Like it's
Well,
up there
I mean,
with
most
Gurren
mecha
Lagann,
shows
with
not that good.
Evangelion.
Oh my god. Okay.
Diebuster
A lot of
is
Gundam.
I
way
think
miles
there's-
above
so there's-
Gunbuster.
Yeah, you would say that.
Well, speaking of which, also just like as a normal physics type thing, how did the Gunbuster get back to Earth when it had no propulsion system?
Actually, it did. It had one degeneracy generator left.
Yeah, but I mean, it had no thrusters.
Are you sure about that?
There were definitely none on when it was.
Dude, that's
coming
why
back.
by the time they got to Earth, it was literally 12,000 years later. They were up there for so long, drifting.
Yeah, but they were drifting, as you say, at the speed of light.
Yeah.
Which, think about
And
this.
at some point, they had to slow down to relativist speeds.
All right. Okay.
Whatever.
I'm gonna
space drag.
I'm gonna mention
that's not something that I'm saying is making the show bad. The other points are things that made the show bad. This is just one of those ones where it's like, couldn't they have at least put some thrusters on that guy to have him slow down instead of
I'm gonna say one more thing about Gunbuster, and I think we should move on. To Diebuster. I want to say that the attention to detail and the mechanics of the ships and the Gunbuster and the machines and the cinematography of just those parts alone are really good, and that is just playing to like
the attention to detail. You mean how the laser cannons and photon torpedoes can't hurt anything, but somehow the Gunbuster is able to destroy entire fleets?
Oh my god, nitpick! Like that is just straight nitpick.
Because the Gunbuster is their ultimate weapon. It has like this ultimate
is like absolute anti-fun.
So
Absolute
in Diebuster,
anti-fun.
they establish reasons with the whole concept of the topless, which I'm guessing is just a play off of the fact that Noriko ripped off part of her top at the end.
Diebuster was created at a time where they could literally talk about that and be like, you know what, in Gunbuster,
yeah, but see, in Gunbuster, it just happens to be better than everything else. While in Diebuster, they establish that it should be better than everything else.
Okay, I hear you. I'm not saying that you should excuse it because it's just because it's from the 80s. I'm just saying that a lot of the stuff
I should excuse it just because it's from the 80s and they sucked at telling stories back then.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying you should excuse it just because it's from the 80s. I'm saying that whether or not that's the case, you're still being very nitpicky, like you would any other show, whether it's from the 80s or not. Like,
yeah, I should be able to look at shows and recognize where things failed.
Nitpicky about any shows that he doesn't view up to his caliber.
Yeah, it was established that the Gunbuster was their ultimate weapon. Like,
it was established that the Gunbuster was the ultimate weapon, though.
Yeah, you're thinking too hard about this. Like, the thing about Gunbuster
why was it better?
It's smart and stupid at the same time. Like, that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah, but see, Diebuster did the smart and stupid better.
Because
Gunbuster is lame, and Diebuster is the super fun, over the top.
It was probably cuter. It had more boobies.
Okay.
The colors looked better.
Oh my god.
It actually had less boobs. It actually had less boobs.
The thing that made Gunbuster even better, actually, we should mention the soundtrack too. The soundtrack of Gunbuster is fucking phenomenal, and that's what made it. And that's like part of what made it better
like
than
the same
Diebuster.
two songs.
It had the 80s pop mixed with like this orchestral like themes and
that
stuff.
That ending theme.
And it was super dramatic.
Ending theme when they're going back to Earth is very
phenomenal.
Good.
Dude, like I can't watch that show without
I teared up a
like,
bit at that last part.
Dude, I legit back when I first watched it, I like
and the
lights
cried. Saying "Welcome Back" were even stupider than everything else.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
This is like somebody that has
can I
no
just say
taste.
this? Can I just say this?
Why would they even bother?
No, let me just say this. Gunbuster was originally, as Nick said numerous times already, was originally parodying something, right?
I was actually the first one that said that.
Okay, shut up. Anyways, so then Diebuster was literally made to be a sequel to Gunbuster, so it had the time.
Yeah, it was.
It had the knowledge for better.
What Gunbuster was and made it way better.
And it had the better. It had a chance to tell the story, to tell a story better in 6 episodes, and improve on storytelling for however many years. Okay,
I don't even think it improved.
It was much better.
Think it did.
The
I don't think it
actually
was
flows
much better.
Forward.
I don't think it was not better.
I didn't say
Gunbuster was at least twice.
I'm just
as good
trying to
as
speak
Diebuster.
to Quokka's, ignorance here. But
Diebuster played it safe. It did like a straightforward linear like
it did like a straight up sequel like.
But like so fucking what? Like just playing it safe doesn't mean that it's going to be good.
Okay, let's move into
Gunbuster
Diebuster
did
here.
not play it safe.
Let's move into Diebuster here. So, I mean, if Nick, you want to summarize this because you probably do it better than me.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
So Diebusters,
okay.
you start with Nono, who we find out very early on is a robot, and she wants to become a space pilot, and she happens to meet a space pilot and follow them back to the base. They're like, no, you can't be a space pilot, you stupid maid. And then an alien attacks. They beat up the alien. They end up taking her up into space because apparently that's when they find out that she's a super powerful robot that can do lightning kicks and shit. And then she becomes kind of part of the crew and slowly builds up from there until finally revealing that she's the ultimate weapon to save everybody.
Yep.
And see, that's part of why
she takes her top off.
Diebuster is not as good as Gunbuster, because in Diebuster, she's already the ultimate weapon. Like she's not a regular person. She doesn't have to face the same like challenges and difficulties. She has some different ones where she's like, yeah, she has to sacrifice at the very end to save to prevent the singularity
she's
or whatever.
Much more of a Rei Ayanami with a personality.
What?
Well, she's a robot. That's the only similarity is that she's a robot. Or she's not.
You just seriously compared her to Rei Ayanami.
She's nothing.
Are you
like
shitting me?
No, with a personality.
Do you even watch the same subs I do?
Okay, let's say.
Do you even watch this in the foreground?
Nono becomes a giant made out of robots.
Okay, actually, yes.
Rei becomes a giant made out of angels.
Well, that's what Diebuster did. Diebuster took a lot from Evangelion.
It did.
Like there was so many scenes in Diebuster that were direct like references.
Nono
like,
is
the
a
one
simplified
with,
Rei
with
Ayanami with a personality.
Even Trisha said that. She was like, this reminds me of Evangelion.
The construct of Rei is the same as Nono. It's just she has an actual personality, while Rei is completely
and there's like
worthless.
scenes where Lauk's holding her up in the arm. It's just like the final episode of Evangelion. And then there's a scene where she's like the giant female figure in front of the Earth or whatever. And then
so now
there's the.
So now, what did you guys think of Diebuster? Shut up, Coca. I'm asking the other two.
So great.
Mac, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. Diebuster as a sequel, I thought was good. I thought Diebuster was pretty freaking good. I like the characters a lot. And if you told me that this show aired in 2004, I would not have thought that.
Mm-hmm.
The production quality...
It's an OVA, though. OVAs
the production
have
quality
budgets, generally.
is really fucking good for it. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the soundtrack. The first OP is absolutely lovely. Well, the only OP, I should say. It's absolutely lovely.
There's only one
I know.
OP.
I'm used to these shows that have multiple OPs. The OP to the show is really lovely. Nono as a character, like her, I do. I like her. I like Lauk a lot as well.
She's got a 5
But
head.
the thing about Diebuster is that it is true to the core of being fan pandering, which is what we touched on a couple of episodes ago. It made so many damn references that you could only catch if you had seen Gunbuster and if you had seen Evangelion, like they were pointing out.
And it even has like some future ones for Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
The kick is like a drill, and it's like, that's Gurren
but
Lagann.
If not, Gurren Lagann took
and
it
Fooly
from that.
Cooly.
In my
It
opinion,
reminds me
though,
a lot of Fooly Cooly.
the greatest piece of writing in the entire show was how they ended Diebuster.
Yeah.
The way the ending tied in so perfectly to the ending of Gunbuster is probably one of the most beautiful and satisfying endings I have ever seen in an anime, bar none. And I did tear up at that. That was absolutely gorgeous because it just came out.
I predicted
it came
that.
out
That was
of
really
nowhere.
obvious that they would do
They
it.
didn't really hint it until
It
that
was so
scene was
obvious.
there.
That's the
They
only way
didn't-
that Diebuster could end, though.
They
Like, if
hinted
you
it
think
a little
about That's
bit
the only way it could end.
when Nono woke up. She said Noriko.
She said no Riri.
Yeah, and no, think about it, though.
Ririko, because Noriko.
Like, all you need to know that ending is there is a sequel to Gunbuster. Okay, it happens in the future. Noriko drifts back to Earth in the future. They light up the Earth in the future. Like, what the fuck do you think's gonna happen?
No, but you
Like,
get so absorbed into
Yeah.
the show, you don't think it's happening, and then by the time it's happening,
I
it's
saw
right
it
on top
coming.
of you.
I knew
hardcore.
that was coming before I saw the show at all.
In fact, when I started the
Doesn't
show,
make it
I
bad,
was
it's
like,
good.
"This better be 12,000 years later."
yeah, that's the only way
That's
they
kinda
can
what
end
I
it.
it
thought.
started.
Good.
It started to throw me off with the fact that she was still in a steam train
But
on normal ass rails.
But I gotta say this though, even though I thought that, because like when I started the show, I was like, oh, so this is probably like after the fact. This is 12,000 years later. This is what everything looks like now. Even though I made that thought in my mind, I still didn't see that last part coming. Maybe
No,
I'm just-
because it's kind of like a
Did you
disconnect.
miss the fact that she kept referencing Noriko?
I
yes,
mean,
she references Noriko,
no, I
and
mean
it's a
I
sequel
guess,
to Gunbuster,
I don't think
but they
that's
never straight up tell you how much in the future it is.
Okay, we have
They
to-
tell
we-
you
Yeah.
that all of that
Yeah,
stuff in
well, whatever.
Gunbuster, all the degeneracy generators and all that shit, is technology that they've lost over the years, but they never tell you the grand scale of the time difference that has passed from Gunbuster to Diebuster. And I think that's what really makes that ending hit home, and that's what really makes it tie in so well, is because they never, ever made it a huge focal point from the very beginning to tie that ending in the way they did. Sure, there was references to Noriko.
They kept
She
talking
said,
about
"No,
Noriko,
no,
though.
Riri."
Like, that was
and
so emphasized.
it was emphasized, but it was done in such a
But
way
too
that
much.
never
To such a
made it
degree
Okay, I'm gonna.
so
that it had to
obvious.
happen.
Okay, just you have to understand too that everyone watches anime differently, and I'm a little slow, so whatever. But anyways, basically the ending of Diebuster is
the ending of Gunbuster.
is the ending of Gunbuster, and as Lauk is looking up, they're lighting up the sky, and you see two red like lights coming down, and she's like, "I'm gonna tell them everything about Nono and blah blah blah," and shit like that. And it's Noriko and Kazumi coming down from the sky. But so basically, what Max said about how much he liked it is basically what I thought. Did I like it better than Gunbuster? That's really hard to say, and I'll say it like this, as quickly as I can. I'll say it like this. Gunbuster was made during a time where robot anime was kind of like on the rise, right? And it kind of was parroting that aim for the ace thing, but at the same time, it was a mecha anime, so, you know, the design of everything and the looks of everything were kind of reminiscent of like...
And it did kick off boob physics in anime.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I was inspired a little bit by like Gundam.
Let's talk about
super robot.
And
shows.
I'm just going to talk about the design a little bit. The design of the Gunbuster machine, the main one, 1 and 2 combined or whatever, it kind of reminded me of like Mazinger and Giant Robo kind of, and then the main machines, that all the Buster machines that were in Diebuster kind of reminded me of like Gadgard and Dieguard, a lot of the other animes that came out around that time, 2000 to 2005.
Yeah, well, because what you got to understand about Gainax, for the audience, Gainax was made by a studio of otakus. Like, they would always reference those old mecha shows, like the really old mecha shows.
Right,
and they love that shit. So like they would put all that into their
right.
shows.
So what I'm saying is, from like 2000 to 2005, the animes Dieguard, Gadgard, and Brigadoon all came out, and those were newer shows. But those robots were throwbacks to robots like Gigantor, Getter Robo, and which those
Astro
are
Boy.
and I kind of, yeah. So the designs were of the original Gunbuster machine and the Buster machines and Diebuster. The designs are very different in that aspect, and the animes as mecha animes carry themselves in that way, which I like. So I was technically like, obviously they're two different animes, but I thought I was watching two different completely mecha animes, which I enjoyed very much. I thought that was pretty cool. Like the Buster machines in Diebuster reminded me of like the Mega Deuces from Big O. And like,
they reminded me of Gurren Lagann. Like that's what.
Yeah, that too.
I know it's the same studio, but like
no, that too.
It had like the same kind of like what is it? Smooth, like flowy. The robots were really fluid,
right?
moving.
And I actually really liked,
not like the Gunbuster, which was like a bulky robot,
right? And I really liked how Lauk's Buster machine was like he had like a school uniform on. I thought that was kind of badass. Like it looked like a
Lauk was a chick, dude. There was a guy who had the same uniform. Lauk was a girl though.
Her robot had like it.
Oh, her robot. Yeah, okay.
It kind of looked like
it kind of
looked like JoJo a little bit with that thuggish school uniform. You know?
D Snoof.
Yeah,
I think
that's what it's called. Yep. I really enjoyed both of them in a separate way. I really can't tell which one I like better. I'm like,
I can tell you which one I like better.
I can tell you which one I like better.
I probably like Gunbuster better. But
I've got to
it's like not even close.
I've got to say that, you know, both of them are good. I like both of them a lot. And, you know, as I said before, I really like the way Diebuster ended. They both were written quite differently as to how things happened and how things flowed. But, you know, we're talking 1988 to 2004 here. That's going to happen. But for both of
so it was better. You're saying Diebuster is better.
Just because something's newer doesn't mean it's better. I would rather have a
Yeah.
1957
New is not
Chevy
necessarily
Bel Air than my 2015 Mazda. Just
Okay.
because something is new does not mean it is better.
No, you just said though it was better. It has better story, better animation.
No, I said it's different. I said there's going to be differences between the two. Of course the animation's going to be higher quality. Of course. But
and the storytelling.
Okay, I just gotta say right here, I gotta say it. I gotta stop Mac for a second. Quoko, if you're gonna sit there and say that some animes are better because the animation's better because of like the time difference of when they were made or come out, is probably the most ignorant thing you could ever say as an anime.
Thank
No,
you.
it wasn't
Somebody
just because
else
of
caught
The
that
story
other
is
than
better
me.
too. Everything's better about it. Diebuster, everything across the board is better than
But Gunbuster's,
Gunbuster.
you have to remember too that Gunbuster, and I'm not saying this makes it better or good. I'm saying Gunbuster started out as one thing and became something else, while Diebuster was literally a direct sequel, and
Yes.
so it had a point to stick to.
And it's better. Which allowed it to be
Diebuster
better.
is it was
If
just
you're
a sequel.
making excuses for why
Straightforward.
something's worse doesn't make it better.
All right, can we just let Mac finish?
Sorry, go ahead, Mac.
Now I'm all off train. Oh, shit.
You were saying which one you like better, and you were talking about Diebuster and how, like.
I mentioned Diebuster had differences in animation story. I'm trying to get myself caught up here because I got off track.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I totally agree with what you said whenever you interjected. I'm perfectly fine with that. All of that being said, with how Diebuster was done, I think it did a great job as a sequel. I really do. I liked a lot of stuff about it. But that being said, I really enjoy the way Gunbuster was done. Gunbuster was just absolutely phenomenal, especially towards the end part of it. Sure, you could say that it didn't flow as smoothly as some shows do, but the fact of the matter is that in 6 episodes, they managed to get done what many shows today cannot get done in 24. And that is such an amazing feat of directing that I just got to say, Hideaki Anno, you're a freaking god. That show was amazing. Everything
But
about
Diebuster
it.
He was
got
the
more
director.
done in the same amount of time with good flow.
Oh my god.
Anno was the
Hideaki
director,
Anno.
but
Okay.
the creator or the guy who made the script was what's his name? God, I gotta find it here.
Hideaki Anno did everything. Shut up.
He did
No, it
write
was
episode 4 of
Toshio Okada.
Diebuster.
Toshio Okada.
Toshio Okada wrote the
he
script,
wrote the script.
and Anno wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic job done on it. Okay, sure, I may get some of this tiny little details wrong, but my point still remains valid. Gunbuster was done so well, especially whenever you consider 1988, all of this shit hand-drawn on cells, animation superb, soundtrack is superb. I give it
Excuses
a freaking...
aren't
I give it, honestly,
qualities.
we haven't done this in a while, Nabisco scale, I give it a solid golden Oreo. Bam. Show's fantastic.
Same.
And I want to give, and I do
Okay.
want to give props
Let me-
to Kazuya Tsurumaki too. I mean, he's the director of Diebuster, but he also did a very good
Yeah,
job.
they were both.
Yes,
They're
they're
both
both
well-directed.
very well done, but I think
But why
Diebuster...
is Gunbuster good?
Go ahead, Nick.
So let me say
Go ahead,
why.
Nick.
Fucking God, you guys are just
No, I just said
Okay.
go ahead. That's what I was trying to get to.
The reason Gunbuster is not only better than Diebuster, which Diebuster was good, Gunbuster is I think it's one of the best anime ever made. I think it's in the top, couple hundred at least,
but why?
if not better. Because it has such like a powerful theme with like the time dilation and the sense of loneliness and isolation that Noriko and Kazuma, especially Noriko, faces. That they're defending against. It's like a pretty simple premise. They're defending against humanity's extinction, and
Yeah,
what
And it's
what
still
makes-
present in
and
Diebuster.
it's the atmosphere of the show
what
too.
makes it and what makes it good is like the sound plays into it, the animation plays into it, the themes play into it, the characters play into it. Like
Play
it
into
all
what?
works well together into this one package that shows that's like hard. It's cheesy. It's like hard work and guts can get you anywhere. And
all of that
we
is
know
in
that's
Diebuster.
not technically true.
What makes Gunbuster good?
Gunbuster did it better. It had the time dilation. It had the character pathos. Like you cared more about the characters. There's more reason to care for the main
How is
characters.
there more reason?
I'm talking
when
specifically about main
everything just jumps.
I gotta say, I
Because that's the
honestly
point.
cared about the characters in Gunbuster a little bit more than Diebuster. I
characters
gotta agree
don't
with Nick on that
develop.
one.
Like, yes, Noriko and Kazumi and Coach and all them develop greatly. Like, in a 6-episode show, they're
No,
you know,
they have
they're
hard
constantly
cuts.
fighting.
They don't
Noriko's
actually
dealing
like
with-
develop like real people.
I know what you mean. Like, there's not. It's not like the Miyazaki where they just sit there in front of a landscape, or Oshi where it's just like Ghost in the Shell, just looking at the city for 5 minutes. Like, I know what you mean. It's a faster clip.
Yeah, but it's like
But
it doesn't
that
happen in a
is
way
part
that's
of
actually
the
like development.
experience.
Like it's just all of a sudden she's super in love with the coach.
Yeah,
when
like,
it's like
okay,
you've
character
had
de-
nothing up to that point.
Character development is not like the
Oh
strongest
yes,
theme of
because
Gunbuster.
they
I
had
think
all
all
of
of a
this
sudden-
time. They had all of this time to show that romantic relationship in 6 fucking episodes. Get
So
the
yes,
fuck
you're making
out.
excuses for the fact that they wrote more than they could do.
No, that was probably. I would say that's probably the weakest part. The weakest part of Gunbuster is the romantic.
I don't know what
relationship.
your
I thought,
point is with
I
saying
thought
that.
for the amount of time that they had, they worked it in perfectly.
No, I'm not talking about the coach one. I'm talking about the.
I
other
was
guy,
responding
Smith.
to Cam Chuck
Yeah,
not
and
you.
Smith too.
Oh, Smith,
Like that just
okay.
he
No,
she
the,
just
the
suddenly
coach
becomes
romance
super
was pretty decent.
super attached to him over like nothing.
Well, if you were all alone on a spaceship and knew nobody, and the only person you just knew basically gave you the middle finger, the first person that shows you any sort of compassion, you're probably going to form a quick bond with.
Not a 2-day bond to where you dedicate the rest of your life to them.
I
That
don't
was-
know.
dude,
Going out
Smith-
into battle for the first time and having this guy that you just met and was being nice to you killed like that probably will leave an impression on you.
She didn't even see
Get
him die.
the hell out.
He just disappeared. So it wasn't even
That
like
was the
a
most
super
haunting
traumatic
part.
moment.
He stopped
yeah, that's the
responding.
part.
Like, that's scary.
You're not. You don't just dramatically see a character. It's not fucking like Iron-Blooded
Yeah,
Orphans.
but that's
or
one
whatever,
that
where,
builds
like, they
up
have a speech at the end
isolation,
and
not
die.
super attachment.
Yeah,
There's a
and
difference
that's-
between
that's
like witnessing the death and completely missing it that would result in different things. But anyway, your argument of they only had 6 episodes is not a suitable argument because this isn't like a manga that was written and they tried to adapt 100 chapters.
Well, that's not my
This
main
is a story
argument.
that they
I'm saying,
Mac is saying that. He's saying that it's great that they were able to get all that into 6 episodes and even if it caused problems. But they should have just written a story that wouldn't have problems.
I don't think.
Well, I'm saying.
I
Well, I
don't
said
think
this
that.
before, Quokka. The writer purposely put as many. He crammed as many ideas as he could into
Yeah,
it because
which is
they're
an
otakus,
excuse.
like Gainax. They're having
I
fun.
understand what your point
They
is. That doesn't make
are
it good.
parodying, like-
But the thing about it is it worked, and it worked well.
and it still worked. Yeah, I mean, there were some minor flaws. Like I would.
Like the characters don't
I've said 'em
develop.
already, but-
The entire story
No, the
destroys
minor
its
characters.
own tension.
The minor characters get shafted a little bit, but it's like
Actually,
That's
the
not
minor
just what
characters
shafted.
get shafted
this isn't
a lot.
some deep like character study. That's not the point. It's a couple of simple themes. It's like isolation, loneliness, and hard work and guts, and like that's the themes. And it's like despite being lonely and isolated, you can still persevere and pull through, and people are going to recognize that at the end. And that's why she got welcomed back to Earth, and like that's like super powerful because like you can even put that into your real life. Like you can say, "Oh, I'm not doing so well right now. My friends and family and all that." they're
Yeah, but
moving on. They got
Diebuster
these
does that
good
same
jobs
thing
and shit,
better.
and it's like, no, it
No,
doesn't.
it
You're
doesn't.
talking about the themes.
It does it
Diebuster has the
simpler.
exact same themes, and it meets them
It doesn't
in
have the same
better
themes.
ways.
Because nobody's passing her by. Like Nono is a fucking robot. She doesn't have the same pathos as a regular human.
Why are you
She's
so
not living a
attached to
human
the-
life
The
Polka,
story's not about Nono.
Polka, you realize that Diebuster.
or loud.
The story's
I
about
guess.
the other pilots.
You realize that Diebuster was able to do those themes that much better because it's a sequel to Gunbuster, which originally did.
I don't
it.
think Diebuster didn't do anything.
I didn't.
better.
I didn't mean it
Gunbuster
like
did a lot
that.
better.
I'm saying
It did all of it better.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm sorry. I worded that wrong. I'm saying you realize that it was able to do it that good because it was a sequel, which means it had something to base it off of, which was Gunbuster.
The story's not exceptionally.
No, that's not. I don't think.
based.
I think
in
what
that.
Quokka likes is he likes the straightforward narrative without the extra fluff and
No, I'm totally fine with time
and-
dilation. Like I loved Interstellar and stuff like that. Like that's great. It's just that the way that they actually told that story even caused jumps in the way that we experience it. Like the way Interstellar does is you're stuck with one character through the entire movie. Like there's small cuts and stuff, but your timeline is with one characters. You connect to one timeline.
Well, you're essentially doing the same thing in Gunbuster, though. I
But
mean,
you also see
it's
almost
not-
all of it in real time. On Gunbuster, that
Okay, I know-
jumps, and a lot
I
of
know what
times
you
in
mean.
their
So
own
they say-
development, it jumps where you're going from, oh, things are like this, and now suddenly they're like this without any actual connecting time in between.
Yeah, and like that's part of the parody aspect, and like the anime version.
What
of
was
this,
that
like
parodying?
it's parodying like mecha and action and stuff.
No,
and it's
I mean,
just
what-
fucking,
what's
it's like
bad storytelling
fast action.
parodying?
That's what it is. Well, it was the aim for the ace at first, and then it's also parodying mecha, like in general,
So how does that lead to what we have?
or maybe not parody. Parody might not be the best word, but like homage. Like it's just
Yeah, I don't know
it's-
if
it's
I don't know
cool.
if
It's
parody's
rule
the
of
word you're
cool,
looking
like-
for there.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I mean, One Punch Man is a parody. Like this is more. It's more homage.
Yeah.
But like, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Like every story, like so quickly revolves itself in such a boring way that it
Oh yes, because
Doesn't
nice
makes sense.
nice big globs of action are so boring.
But most of like they don't mean anything.
They're saving humanity.
Defending
What do
the
you
one
mean?
ship, it just got its shit fucking rocked, and then it still just did its job. And then the second thing, it gets its shit rocked, and apparently wasn't built with basic redundancies in it. On top of having to take like 4 days to start doing its job, why would you make it that way if you knew it was going to come under attack?
Wait, what are you talking about?
The big
Yeah, I
bomb,
don't even
know.
it
Like,
took
this
like
isn't the
multiple
point.
days to get armed and ready to fire, and then it took an hour of countdown for the fight, and then
Probably
it lost only 2%
because
of
they're
its reactors
compressing-
and no longer worked.
Probably because they were compressing the mass of Jupiter into a black hole.
That was already compressed within it. Why wouldn't they send it already compressed?
Because that would make it into a black hole, and its super strong gravity
like,
would probably
you
cause
don't
the
get-
bomb to implode.
No, because that's not what causes it to explode. Remember, it's all the reactors.
I
that
said
do.
implode, not explode.
Yeah, but the
There's a
reactors are what
difference.
cause it to implode.
Yes, degeneracy.
The
That's
bomb
why you-
part was to control,
Yes.
be able to control it, dude.
And they lost only 2% of them, and it stopped working. This is like you,
Yeah, you can
take your
have- you can have
B-52 bomber up, and then you don't start arming it until you're above Hiroshima.
Dude, if your computer program is 2% busted, that's not gonna fucking work right. Like it's same thing with like
Except
online
if they have a
gaming or
number of
something. If one
reactors
little
that they
thing
need
is
to work,
broken,
you just put more reactors.
There were reactors all over that motherfucker.
Yeah, so they should have put more if apparently only 2% takes it completely
Hey guys,
inoperable.
we've covered this thing in
Wow,
reactors.
okay.
We got to make it bigger so we can fit more reactors for redundancy. That
when they
makes
know it's
no
going to come under
sense.
attack, that makes sense. When they know it's going to come under attack, how
They
did
had the
nobody think,
Gunbuster defend it.
maybe what if somebody like shoots it and a reactor stops working? Huh.
Quokka, again, this is an homage to Mecha. Like they're not trying to be the smartest motherfuckers in the world.
But
They're not
they
like
don't-
Light
they just have to
Yagami
not be
planning for every
stupid.
little thing. Like they are.
It's that
planning,
basic thing, even with
but-
iron-blooded orphans. They just have to not be stupid.
But it's like a trope. Like they're defending the bomb until it explodes. Like
Which
it's,
is that's kind of fine in
Shit,
itself.
dude, it's
but then
rule of
why does
cool,
it happen
like
to have? Why did it have to be 98? Why couldn't it have been like 60?
I don't know, man.
This is
Because
important.
that wouldn't
okay.
be. Because Jesus, it doesn't fucking matter.
These are
really
things that may have
doesn't.
put me a little bit over the edge. Main thing, the story progression's terrible.
Nope.
Even if the story itself that's trying to tell is really good, its actual flow through it is pretty bad.
Nope.
It's not the best. I will give you that, but it is still good enough to make Gunbuster a classic. And in my
I
opinion,
mean, people should
one of the
definitely
best
see it,
anime.
but it's definitely not one of the best anime.
I think it's clearly one of the best. I think it's.
I think
Not even
it's
close.
probably going in my personal top 20.
Whatever.
At
We're gonna
least
have to
top
wrap this
20.
up. Fans, tweet at us at Anime Summit about if you think I'm right or if you think everybody else is wrong.
I'm sorry. This is my final thought. If anyone dislikes Gunbusters for any of the reasons Quokka stated, you're kind of stupid. Sorry. I don't care if you're a fan or not. You don't have legit reasons to not like it, or then
Those aren't legit.
Wait, let me be real.
Well,
let me
it
be
is
real
legit,
for
Quokka,
just
but
a
it's
little
missing
bit,
the point.
okay?
It's missing the point of the show. That's
if you
not the
would
point.
look at my mouth, you would notice that just about every single show, actually every single show except for this one, the oldest one I've ever seen is Great Teacher Onizuka, which isn't really that old. Okay, I only watch pretty much newer shows. Just because it's old doesn't mean you cannot appreciate it. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's not good. Gunbuster
Yeah,
is
and just
wonderful.
because it's old doesn't mean it's good either.
Gunbuster is wonderful. It is a great show, and you should go and watch it. And then you can watch Diebuster.
If only to add more value to Diebuster.
No.
Diebuster is like the nice
Diebuster's
cherry on
good,
top. It's
but it
not
has less
necessary.
value
Okay.
without
Diebuster.
Gunbuster.
Okay.
I don't think-
Imagine if you will. Imagine if you will.
I'm gonna take this is the Clanad situation where you have to watch Clanid to get to After Story, and After Story is really the thing that you care about.
Imagine if you will.
it's
a
not.
hot chick. She has no shirt on.
Is she Noriko? Because she just
No,
ripped off her
she
shirt.
has no shirt on. Her jumblies are covered with whipped cream. Okay, that is Gunbuster.
Pet Girl of Sakura
That is
Sao.
that is Gunbuster. And then
No,
those
that's Pet Girl
little
of Sakura
those
Sao, 'cause
little
I know
those
what you're
little
talking
cherries all along the line of the memories. Those are Diebuster.
No, the boobs.
Oh, and the
of
cherries are like the little
Diebuster.
spiral that's around the earth, dude.
Oh,
So
nice,
her boobs are
nice.
the earth.
You see
Oh.
what
And the
I did?
cherries are the little
Sick reference, bro. Sick reference, bro.
So I've been Quokka. With me has been Mac, Nick, and Psalm, and this has been the Anime Summit podcast.
And we disagree with Coco because he's stupid.
Yep, the episode where Quokka's wrong.
all fucking wrong again. If you like the show, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Anime Summit or leave a review on iTunes.